I want to send this message out to all of those parents that's out here. Stop being your child's best friend. The reason I say that is because as parents, we need to become parents and stop trying to be their best friend. When I spoke at the Houston Juvenile Probation Center, and to let you know that the population is actually overcrowded. There are more inmates than it is beds. And the reason why? Because parents are not being parents anymore. When I speak to these young men, and to my knowledge, not only that they are there between the ages of 10 and 17 years old, but a lot of these kids feel safer in jail rather than at home, for the simple fact that they don't even know if they're going to have a home-cooked meal. They don't even know if the parents is going to show up. What these kids need is discipline. They just need somebody that's going to love them and tell them what it is that they need to do, rather than a mom or dad just trying to be a best friend. These kids need discipline. That's all they're looking for. So a lot of times they feel like they can get that when they're incarcerated. Why? Because the correction officers is actually telling them when to go to bed, when to get up, what time to come and eat, and all of those things. We got to get back into being parents. And I feel that if you have a child and your child can't come and tell you everything or anything that's what's going on, then either you have lost your child or you're losing them. Again, you have to get back into being a parent, because these kids need discipline. You know, and I think about my situation as far as with me and my kids. For instance, my oldest son, every day I talk to him on the phone. There's not one day that I would get off the phone and not tell my son I love him. We got to get back into doing that. Sometimes parents will tell their kids I love you when they're already in a situation, or they will tell them I love you when the child is doing something great. Why don't every day that you talk to your kids, tell them that you love them? You're the mom or the dad. It's okay to tell your kids that you love them, because let me tell you something. Every time when they're not around you, that will always play into their head that my mom or my dad loves me. And I can go back to my grandmother. She used to always tell me this: trouble is easy to get into and hard to get out. And I think that saved me from a lot of the things that I were doing as a kid growing up. And yeah, of course I did get in trouble, but I always kept in my mind after the fact that trouble was easy to get in and hard to get out. But I think with me keep telling myself that, it stopped me from getting into a lot more trouble, because I always kept telling myself, and it played back in my mind over and over and over, okay, if I do this, I always remember my grandmother said trouble is easy to get in and hard to get out. That stuff still applies to this day. So again, we have to get back into being parents and not being your child's best friend. These kids, they need discipline. And I can go back into another scenario. A client of ours, his mom had 5 boys, and 4 of those boys were older. They wasn't financially in a situation where they could just tell their mom, hey, you no longer have to work, we can take care of you, whatever the case may be. But one of our clients actually got drafted in the NFL, and he was actually known as one of the hardest hitter in the NFL. And I remember the reporter asked him questions like, man, you know, what kept you on the right path and being able to do the things that you need to do, and now you're at this level? You know, I kind of thought he was going to say, well, you know, I had 4 big brothers, they toughened me up, and, you know, they got me prepared for this moment, or whatever the case may be. But this man said, well, I mean, I expect all parents to thank their mom, but he said, I want to thank my mom. And the reason why he thanked his mom is because he was scared of his mom. Now, granted, physically, of course, I don't think his mom could have beat him. But the thing is, his mom had enough fear in him to where he thought that his mom could kill him. That's the kind of fear that you want to have in your child. Now, granted, you may not kill your child, but you want your child to say things like, well, I know I better not do this because I know my mom or my dad going to kill me, or whatever the case may be. That's respect, because it's like they're going to think about whatever they do first before they do it. Now, granted, he got drafted and he took care of his mom like they all should. You know, he bought his mom a car, he bought her a home, he gave her a credit card, and he told her mom, go ahead and retire. You no longer have to work. That's how it should be if you make it to that level. But you have to have enough fear in your kids to where they think that you are going to kill them if they do something stupid. I promise you this, if your child has that type of fear from you, you're going to have a good child. I promise you, you're going to have a good child. Some of these kids, they don't have no fear because they are already saying to themselves, well, I know my mom ain't going to do anything, or I know my dad ain't going to do anything. Besides, we best friends. We just that cool. It's good to have a good relationship with your child, but you want to have that good relationship to where they know, hey, games is over with when I come and talk to mom or dad. You know, they're going to tell me what it is that I need to know. And keep in mind, if your child can tell you anything, you probably can save them from a lot of bad things. And the reason I say this is because they know if they can come and talk to their mom and dad about anything, they know that the parents is not going to tell them anything bad. But if they feel like they can't talk to you and they can go and talk to one of their so-called best friends about anything, that's not a good thing. Because I'm telling you right now, some friends are good friends and there are some friends that are bad. Because I had friends, you know, who always told me good things. And then I also had some friends who told me bad things. But rest assured, if you go and talk to your parents, I don't think there's not going to be one parent that's going to tell you something negative to do. It should be everything that's at least positive. So again, if your child can't tell you everything, you lost your child already. And what you need to do is try to figure out a way how you can win that relationship back with your child. And it's not going to be by trying to be their best friend. You need to be a parent. You need to have that discipline. And on top of that, tell them that you love them every day. Even if it's something good or bad. Get back into telling your child you love them. I can't think not one time that I have never tell my kids I love them before I get off the phone. If I did, I'd probably call them right back and say I love you, because it's just something that I'm just so accustomed to doing. Because I know that when I'm off the phone with them, and if whatever they're going through in life, they're always going to remember that their dad always tell him he loved him. And it's so kind of, I think it's funny now, because sometimes before I get off the phone with my little ones, they would tell me, I love you, Dad, before I even get a chance to tell them. And I was always so used to telling them that. So now I see that it transformed over to them, and that's a good thing. So build that relationship first with your kids. Now, don't come out there trying to be disciplined and trying to put fear in them, because at that moment, these kids are going to retaliate and look back like, whoa, why are you acting like this? So the best thing I would suggest, build the trust with your kids first. Not only let them know, but show them that you love them, and then gradually start doing this discipline and just telling them the right things to do and all these type of things, because kids are getting pretty big right now, and there's a lot of kids that are bigger than their parents. And you know, hopefully kids don't do anything stupid, but in today's society, you don't know what to expect these days. So at this point, show your kids you love them, tell them that you love them every day, and I wish the best for you and your kids. Real talk.